Be sure to tune in for that. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.
Malaysia has created the world's tallest self-installing wellhead platform and designed the largest and most advanced racecourses. Discover Malaysia's service excellence at the Malaysia Services Exhibition Abu Dhabi. Register with Martrade.
March on Al Jazeera. In 2009, Al Jazeera visited the cities worst affected by the financial downturn. Now, 2 years later, we return as European leaders discuss the debt crisis.
In a new 8-part series, Al Jazeera looks at women's rights and maternal health. Real women and their personal stories.
It's 20 years since the Arab League held its annual summit in Iraq. An Al Jazeera News special has full coverage from Baghdad.
As revolution sweeps across the Arab world, Al Jazeera has a special season of documentaries looking behind the news.
2 generations face the past in order to understand the present. A young man embarks on a journey with his father in search of answers. Great changes in China have brought their traditional family way of life to a crisis point. Faces of China, at this time on Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download Al Jazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovis store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
A popular uprising that shook the country to its core. A defiant president under siege from his people. As the protesters took charge of the streets, we look back at the events that are changing Egypt.
I will stay on the air if I can until the police come
in a special program, Al Jazeera gives you a day-by-day account from those that witnessed them firsthand. Egypt burning, at this time on Al Jazeera.
A new world driven by new media.
This is a very peculiar moment in media history.
Analyzing the media's role in shaping modern history. The Listening Post, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Reports that pro-Gaddafi forces have retaken key areas in the east of Libya, but rebel forces hold AlZawiya and say they're preparing to liberate Tripoli. Hello, I'm Foli Batibo. You're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. Also coming up, the United Nations condemns Muammar Gaddafi's regime and suspends Libya from the Human Rights Council. Pakistan's Minister for Minorities is shot dead in Islamabad. And an influential cleric joins the protests in Yemen and calls for the establishment of an Islamic State. Reports are coming in of renewed violence in eastern Libya, with forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi attacking key towns previously lost to the rebels. Libya's Provincial Council is also confirming attacks on an ammunition depot near AlJazeera. We understand there's been fierce fighting in and around the town of Brega, an important center for oil production in the country. Other towns which have been retaken by government forces include the mountain town of Garian and the city of Sabrata. Also, it's reported that anti-government forces have beaten back attacks on Misrata, Zawiya and Zintan to the south of the capital. Tripoli remains a stronghold of the leader Gaddafi and his army. While Lawrence Lee takes a look now at the latest developments.
The situation in Libya is simultaneously fluid and static. Fluid because fighting continues. Some significant towns like Zawiya, which say they were threatened with airstrikes unless they surrendered, are still holding on, the apparent emptiness of the warning giving them more strength. Here they're busy decorating their town with the flag which has come to symbolize the revolt, and they appear relatively well organized for a civilian militia. Men on the roofs offering early warnings of attack, some powerful hardware as well. On top of that, they have momentum, which can barely be said for Gaddafi's forces.
We have the weapons, we have everything, we have all the supports right now. So God with us, and we want to remove him, eliminate him. We don't want him anymore right here in our area. We need another organization, another system.
The latest town reclaimed by the regime is said to be Brega in the east. Yet others like Masalata, just 100 kilometers east of Tripoli, have announced that they're now with the uprising.
The youth of Masalata announced that they have joined the revolution of February 17th. We also announced that we stand steadfast in support of our brothers in the east and in all Libyan cities until we free our country from the regime of the dictator. We also reject any military intervention in our country. Long live free Libya.
Yet neither side can claim a breakthrough. For all the images to stir the hearts of revolutionaries in the Arab world, pictures of young men practicing to be soldiers in Benghazi and all the military training they're receiving, there's no clear sign yet as to when they will move on Tripoli.
All people here are one heart, and they believe in one Libya. So there is no way in going back. They're going to finish this job.
There are reports of a debate in the rebel movement as to whether they should call on foreign intervention, even airstrikes. Despite the obvious benefit that would offer to Gaddafi, it appears to reflect frustration at the impasse. Certainly voices from Tripoli talk of a city completely divided.
There are security brigades roaming Tripoli's main streets and controlling Tripoli's main crossings, especially the eastern, western and southern crossings. There are also pro-Gaddafi vehicles roaming the main streets. As for the suburbs, the citizens are entrenched and sealing them off with whatever they can, making it difficult for any strangers to enter.
Nor does it appear there's any appetite for the world's most powerful countries to get involved militarily, at least while Gaddafi is still on the back foot.
There is very little that the international community can do at present. Very little. What it can simply do is seek to offer humanitarian support and get workers out of Libya. But what it can't do is get embroiled in what can end up being an open-ended civil war.
The growing humanitarian crisis could have been seen a mile off, and the scenes at the border between Libya and Tunisia are truly desperate. If Gaddafi's strategy is to wear the opposition down through attrition, then this is likely to worsen still. Something has to give, but what that is remains anybody's guess. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
Well, let's now speak to Al Jazeera's Jackie Rowland, who's in Libya.